welcome to Hope Channel. Welcome to The Identity. My name is Samuel Mangi. Now today we're going to be discussing about what is presumed by the society, that men, do not have feelings, so to speak. Men do not have hard emotions in relation to relationships. Today on the panel we have Brian Othor. He's a student and entrepreneur. We also have Herman Tambo, a trained lawyer. We also have Pastor Moses Joseph, a pastor at the University of Arusha, and also a student at the Adventist University of Africa undertaking theology studies. Lastly, we have Martin Kings, who is an electrical engineer. Don't forget to join into today's discussion through our social media platforms, which are going to be relayed on your screen. Join in, and if you have any question or comment, please don't forget to post on our walls. Guys, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
This is amazing. For the longest time, men have been assumed, others have been depicted as manipulative. Is that so, Pastor?
Well, it depends with what you deem as manipulative, but sometimes because men have a better control of their emotions, they can be able to cover up and play with ladies' emotions easily, because they're not attached that easily to emotions, and so this has been it could be seen as manipulative to some extent.
Herman, how good are we at hiding our emotions?
Pretty good, actually. If you think about it, the whole reason why women are called emotional is because they show their emotions. So when a man, you can even test this. You tell a joke, you're more likely to get a lady laughing than a man. It may be funny like no one's business, but they just keep a straight face. And the same applies with negative emotions. So I'm pretty good.
So Martin, does this mean that men do not get depressed by relationships?
They get so much depressed. With me, I believe that action and reaction force are equal and opposite.
Okay.
So when you talk about men causing the all havoc, I think also the ladies can do the same.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Brian, do you also buy to that idea that women have equal power to to impose depression or something of that sort?
Sam, I'm just an entrepreneur. I'm not I don't really understand much about physics, the equal and opposite reaction. But one thing I understand is that we are all social beings, and we have emotions, and we all have feelings. It's just that to a certain degree, men's feelings are more on the lower side. Yeah, in expression especially.
Now, Pastor, I want to bring you in, because some lady will be watching and saying you are lying. I mean, but it's true that men get hurt, but then they don't know how to express. Is it because they don't know how to, or they don't have an outlet?
Sometimes we get trapped by what is a societal expectation, what the books say about how a man should act. Example from a personal experience, all ladies who wanted to pursue further relationship with me automatically felt that I'm a pastor, so I need to be spiritually strong, very strong, and I cannot show that falter, or I need to have that demeanor of taking a lead at everything. But when a man or when a person in a relationship doesn't fit into this, like they feel like they're failing the standards of the society, like they're not really living up to what a man should be. And this can cause an internal conflict in their heart, and internal pressure that I'm not good enough for this lady. And when the lady keeps pushing that, it really causes pain and hurt.
Something also to add to that, and probably also ask Oliver to jump in, is that some people have also deemed men of particular careers or ventures to be no-go zone. For example, you're all musicians. I mean, you guys sing marvelously. I wouldn't say the same for myself, because I saw it coming. I saw it coming. But then women have also said it's just statistics have said men who can sing, well, it's good that they can sing, but when it comes to relationships, Is that so, Kings?
Especially those who sing tenor.
Oh, tenor. I
thought bass was the one that liked, the one shaking.
Herman, what do you have to say about that? You're the tenor here.
I find it shallow if someone is only interested in you because you can sing. That's almost as shallow as someone who's only interested in you as a lady because you have good looks.
But it's the truth. I mean, it's an attraction point. You cannot throw that off, you know?
Yeah, but Sam, I don't want to talk. No, I'm kidding. I'm saying like it. Yes, sometimes you get attention because of the vocal ability, but it's not supposed to be something. It's not supposed to be a deal breaker. Yeah, so that even certain people who are lacking in vocal ability should not be locked out.
Maybe someone wants to have like a singer in the bedroom, you know?
Yeah.
Future husband who
Okay,
sings.
Herman, to your own opinion,
Yes.
between tenor and bass, who have
Who is
that,
the
you know,
danger?
attention?
Bases are problematic everywhere,
No.
all
Brian.
over the world, Australia
No.
to Canada.
Brian.
No, that's a false. That's a false
Ask
idea.
Brian what voice he sings.
Yeah.
No.
Brian, what voice do you
No.
sing?
Wait, are we asking about the
No,
the
it's
voice
okay.
I do?
Or the
What
problem.
voice do
Okay,
you sing?
fine. I do all voices.
No,
But
no, no,
majorly,
no, 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 no.
majorly.
Well, majorly bass.
Exactly.
The danger
So
as
So
well.
nothing he
defend.
says from this point is
Wait,
objective.
wait.
Nothing he says. is
Herman,
objective.
what voice do you do?
I'm a mild tenor.
Mild tenor, still tenor.
Very
right?
dangerous.
I don't think. Okay, well, if you look at the four voices, there are two high ones and there are two low ones. And most of the time, you find that the lower ones are more attached to the personality, right? So the high ones, the tenor and the soprano, ladies soprano, the tenors are the men. They are more friendly. They are more. You will find them within the personalities of cholerics and the sanguines, and those are personalities people like.
So it's not the voice, it's the
So it's
personality.
not the voice. So what happens? What happens?
Uh-huh.
The voice is a plus. You see, I mean, this guy is friendly and he can sing. Who wouldn't want that?
Yeah.
So what do you think about the two
You know,
voices?
the bass are secret snipers. You know, you can't say, you know, just because the tenors are usually sanguine, they're usually out there, they usually look like the pop guys, doesn't mean that they're dangerous. You know, the person who talks the most, that they reveal all their weapons, and so they're not dangerous at all.
So
But
the
the
bass
bass, the bass, have you ever heard when the bass goes and goes, "Oh, man," and the first people who scream are who? They're not men. Men are not like, hey, no,
in
no,
fact,
it's
in fact,
usually
you
the
can watch
ladies.
this on YouTube, you know, like even if it's a live concert, and for example, you have a solo of a bass, then all ladies will be like, whoo, whoo, Brian, sing it, you know.
Yes.
But then,
But okay,
No, it's
well,
okay.
I don't disagree at that point. You see, but most basses are introverts. You see, so even to reach to receive this person who is coming with great expectations. I mean, this guy is singing bass, so I want to get to know this person. Maybe we could get into a relationship with this one. But when they come to this person, the person is a bit cold. You know, his power is in there.
Voice.
Is in the microphone. You see.
So that's why that's why
So-
they'll just
so-
drop a beat. That's enough. They'll
That's
just drop a.
So the tenor guy will do it on stage, and when in action, they're very good.
well,
So
okay, clearly you're just trying to defend your voices,
Yes,
but
yes.
okay, the women will tell us. Please tell us what do you think about these two voices. But then the whole point, we are not really talking about the voices or anything,
that's
but
right.
it's about the attachment that comes. You
But
know.
there's something that you're forgetting about the tenor voice.
Please,
Another
bring it.
bass.
Okay, I'm
Another
not a bass.
Your what
Amazingly, I sing tenor.
Oh,
Yes.
okay. Now this is dangerous.
Another
The
thing
tenor
about
voice,
tenors-
the tenor voice, they have that ability of reaching the highest note. They can hit the highest note. At the same time, they can control their emotions while at stage. They can fake emotions at stage. They can make a lot of things while at stage, and you find that ladies can
Women
fall
are-
for that
women
very easily.
Get carried
Like,
away. You see how
I
much-
like that voice. I like that. Oh, preach it, brother, and you're singing. Like, they can do anything on
How
stage.
is looking at you like you said it.
You can see even the,
Personal experience.
okay.
Personal experiences.
I have
You
no
can relate to those are 10x.
But is it true really that male musicians are people to avoid? Because you will sing well, you come in the house and the lady is like, oh please sing for me. It's called the private performance. But then in the real sense, there's that stereotype attached to it. Pastor.
Yeah, I think anything that is done as a performance or is done externally should be avoided. If that's the basis, I like what my brother HT said, that it would be really shallow if that's like the pin drop for you, that this guy can sing really good, or this guy can dress really good, or this guy can talk really good, because you're putting an expectation when it comes to a reality of day to day. This guy is not going to sing for you 24/7, and this guy is going to be having attention, a lot of attention with many people. Are you going to be comfortable with that? So it has to be just deeper than just the voice and just the musician. That I have this guy who sings really well.
But do men fall into depression because of this expectation, especially men who are in music? Kings. Do men fall to depression because of that expectation?
Yeah. Because sometimes what you expected is not what you're meeting. I may have expected that this lady is going to sing very well, and at the same time, I feel that there are some other things that she's supposed to do, just which are going with the quality of how she's singing. Then after meeting this lady, she sings very well, but these other things that I expected her to do very well, she's not doing them well the way I expected. So I get depressed. So like dressing, she can be singing very well, but she doesn't know how to dress well. You see, I'll get depressed. I try to teach her about dressing well. Tomorrow she's back to the same rags. Okay, I try, maybe it's, I can talk about a relationship which has extended to another level. Maybe you've gotten into a marriage relationship. So you're expecting the way she sings so nicely. The same case can happen in the kitchen. Then you go to the kitchen, the way she's cooking, man, it's pathetic. So you get depressed. At the end of the day, you feel like I need a lady in my life, and yet you have a lady in your life. It's a challenge.
Just to pick up from there, the way Pastor said, you know, gifts that make you look good in front of people tend to make you neglect developing yourself in what really counts, what really matters. And I think it's on record that a lot of musicians usually have very bad relationship experiences. Like, a lot of them find it even hard to stay in one relationship. Because you see, if I feel like everyone wants me, I'm a hot cake, when I get into an actual relationship and I run into a problem, I'll just leave that one knowing I can walk to the next one in half an hour or something like that. So I don't think it's a question of avoid men who sing. I think it's a question of get to know a person deeper than just what they show on stage. Like, people see you on TV, but they should not get the impression that everything they see on TV is everything about you. They should be able to interact with you beyond what they see on TV, so that's now what in Swahili we say msema kweli. That's what will now tell what kind of person you really are. And people should also learn to not get impressed easily. Some people get impressed so easily. Just because someone dresses in really nicely fitted suits, that one you've already gotten swept off your feet. Or someone can really do a high note on stage, you know, like that means nothing compared to the real compassion, integrity, faithfulness, commitment, and those altruistic values that really make life worth living.
Okay, we can all blanket in and say that these expectations that have been put to men sometimes become a source of depression.
Yes.
It may not be the one that men have to sleep inside the house, they don't go to work. They might be going to work, but they're not productive. They're in the family, they're the gloomy ones, because they have been pinned this expectation, this figure that they have to live up to, you know. But what could be that one thing that, let me bring you in, Brian, because men have been known to express themselves physically, and you know, sometimes you just can't handle it. At what point, what could probably have happened to push a guy to that edge?
In regards to relationship, right?
Yes, in regards to relationship.
Okay, I'll first begin with putting it clear that we are all blessed in different ways and talents, right? And sometimes when we realize that we are talented in a certain thing, we realize that people love what we are. So most of the time we'll use that to speak for us. Let me just say that. Like, for example, if it's music, if it's a preacher, if it's a mathematician,
An artist.
yeah, so that one will speak for me. It will be like my voice, you see. So when the ladies like me for what I do, and when now we get into that, when we're supposed to get into that relationship and there are expectations that are needed from a man, right? And now because I have not, I rely on what I do rather than what I am. I don't believe in what I am. Maybe Brian himself he's a shy person. That can be a very interesting thing to note about somebody. You'll find he's shy. Maybe he can't even make a sentence. You see, such things. He can't even be creative, but he can only be creative in one thing, maybe speaking, maybe singing, maybe drawing, maybe mathematics. So at the end of the day, this person will become depressed because he realizes that whatever he was trying to use is not really coming through, because you cannot sing forever. Like Pastor said, you will not sing forever. Will we be solving mathematics expression every day? No. So there are times when we will need you as Brian. So it becomes depressive because they have not learned to express who they are.
Ideally, the attachment of what you do than who you are could be a source of what a guy would say, that because I can't get to communicate apart from this what you know, I have to go off the cliff so that you can understand that you know this is who I really am.
And just following on, I can't be who I am so that we can grow together, because I can't be who I am because who I am is maybe an embarrassment to you. It's not something that you want to associate with, and it's something that you bring down, so it causes a conflict. It actually causes us to mask. And masking, obviously, it's something, you're masking a problem, which will in turn lead you into depression or lead you into a very bad place.
Somebody will say that men are great pretenders. I mean, before you get, as you're pursuing a lady, and then now you get into a relationship, you put your best foot forward. I mean, you pay the restaurant bill, you pay the Uber driver, you open the doors for her, all this. Is it really pretense, or what really is it?
It all depends with the kind of men that this lady has met. There are many, or we have different kind of men, or different kind of category in terms of when you're presenting men for a relationship. Men, like for example, I can talk about myself. I don't want to boast about myself. There are many things that. I don't want to boast about myself. And I believe that this is what I am. That I begin with you in a relationship. Whatever the character that you see in me, it is the same character that will walk with me to the next level. If I began with you this relationship today, then in
what you see is what you get.
Yeah, what you see is what you'll get today, tomorrow, and even next year, and I believe 5 years even to come.
So you can say that men don't change. Is it so?
Okay. Before you continue, I'm talking about myself.
Okay,
I don't know any other kind of a person. But I also believe on the other side, men cheat. In a way that they appear in a relationship in the beginning. So they can tell you about heavens and they're living on earth. They can tell you about a Benz and they're riding on a bicycle. Okay, they can just put you in another level of which you think now you've met an angel. Then after some time you realize that you just met a human being at the end of the day. Like I have a friend, when he was starting the relationship, he promised this lady everything about heaven. Everything. He even told the lady about the golden streets in heaven.
Wow.
The golden streets in heaven.
Just
according to the relationship that he was trying to give this lady. But afterwards, the lady came to realize that this man doesn't have a job. Whatever that he used to call a job wasn't a job. In fact, he was just hustling around instead of telling this lady that I'm hustling. Then on the other side, he also came to realize that this man was depending on the parents in terms of finances. And these people have come into a relationship, they will know about a relationship. They didn't even marry through the church. It was come we stay. Now come we stay and see what I am. Now the man was like, you can't explain. There was no heaven. In fact, it was hell. Now the lady was complaining. The way she was looking from outward, it was so much different now. Things have changed because the finances have gone down. Whatever the clothes that she was wearing, things have gone down and things were, in fact, the whole scenario was a mess. It was a mess, and it was just depressing. It was just depressing on the lady's side. Yeah.
Pastor.
Yeah, I just wanted to, that's where we go into the first question you asked me about manipulation. It's very sad, but it's also very common among men that men can see girls as a goal, like it's a goal of where they want to get to. And even I've fallen short of that, whereas I try to, okay, let me see if I can be with this girl, because I want to be with her. But you go into that without really sitting and saying, is this really the lady who I want to be with? And by the time that you have exerted so much effort and you have won her heart, you have done all these things, as you say, you've opened the door and you've been charming and all that kind of thing, then you're like, nah, this is not the girl for me. And the lady has already invested her emotions in this, and they can't just let go like that. But you know, men are very easy. They can just say, oh, next day, I'll find another godly girl that I want to be with. But this is a very big danger, that it's also a warning to us, and it was a rebuke to me, that how Ellen G. White, one of my favorite writers, say that trifling with hearts is a sin of no greater magnitude. It's such a great sin when you are playing with heart, and most people who do this are men.
Sammy, I wanted to also answer, follow up on the answer that Martin gave. Sometimes also ladies need to be careful about the kind of expectations that they put on men. Because some people are struggling to live this fake life because they feel like that is the only way they are going to get noticed by certain ladies. It's important to understand yourself, then you understand what you'd expect of a person, and people also need to have their priorities right, because if you want a rich man who drives a big car, who works in who does a very fancy job, and someone knows that they are not like that but they're interested in you, they might find themselves having to put up appearances so that they can please you. And then when now you discover who they really are, just like in his story, now things become miserable and everything. So that is also a mischief that the ladies need to look at. Be clear. Be clear in your mind what expectations you have, and sometimes let's also manage our expectations. I think the idea of wanting a 10 over 10 in every way, financially, physically, talent-wise, I think it's asking a bit too much.
Which, man, Brian?
Yeah, I'd also want to come to the defense for men in a way. Well, we've talked about paying the bills, opening the doors
and all that,
and all those things. I mean, I want to believe we are talking about good men, right? Because a good man is built, and we are talking about men who are good. Let me just say, generally, these are men who are good, and there's a case that has been brought about them that they are not, they are pursuing very many people after winning other hearts, right? So may I say this? You see, ladies say that we are not being gentlemen, right? For example, I'll take myself, Brian or Thor. I'm not a gentleman. Why? Why, my dear? Why are you saying I'm not a gentleman? Because you don't pay bills, when you don't even say hi, you don't even check on me if I get to the house, you don't open the doors, and I'm like, oh, so that's how a gentleman should be. Okay, then I'll try this. So I'll start doing that. Then when I do that to Nancy, to Jennifer, then somebody will say, oh, he's showing me interest. Now, if I stop, I'm not a gentleman. If I do it, I am trying to get her. Now, when they perceive it in their minds that this person is hitting on me, and then I tell them, hey, I was just being a gentleman. Now it becomes a problem. So you find that some of them are doing it out of generosity. But I'm being a good friend. I'm being a good friend. I'm being generous. I want to be a good man. I mean, Jesus was gentle, right? So I'm also following the footsteps of Christ, man.
You know, I want to interject and say, man, it's hard to be a man in this generation. Genuinely, it's hard. You can see the dilemma that we men have to hustle it out, and trying to be a good person, but then equally having to deal with another understanding that which you really didn't want to present. And again, it might seem that we're not bringing out the whole aspect of depression, but this is to basically bring out the cases that men actually have to deal with. And you might want to see a man break down in tears, but then in that moment of sorrow, you don't know how much it hurts. We're going for the break. But after the break, well, we have been described, not we, but men, rather, some men have been described as dogs. Is it? See you after the break.
Yapendeza miguu ya hao wapelekao neno kwa wale wasiolijua. Yapendeza Injili pia tuliyopewa na Bwana, yenye uzima wa milele. Jina lake latosha kuleta amani, yeye ni njia, uzima na ufufuo, naye Roho wa Bwana ametangulia, kwani tumekusudiwa kupaa naye. Jina lake latosha kuleta amani, yeye ni njia, uzima na ufufuo, naye Roho wa Bwana ametangulia, kwani tumekusudiwa kupaa naye. Tumepewa kushiriki pamoja naye kuwatafuta hao waliopotea, wamjue Mwokozi aliyewakomboa, kwani nao ni warithi wa ufalme. Jina lake latosha kuleta amani, yeye ni njia, uzima na ufufuo, naye Roho wa Bwana ametangulia, kwani tumekusudiwa kupaa naye. Jina lake latosha kuleta amani, yeye ni njia, uzima na ufufuo, naye Roho wa Bwana ametangulia, kwani tumekusudiwa kupaa naye. Naye Roho wa Bwana ametangulia, kwani tumekusudiwa kupaa naye. Naye Roho wa Bwana ametangulia, kwani tumekusudiwa kupaa naye.
Welcome back. You're watching The Identity, and it's been amazing to have you through the first session. And now we're going to progress to an analogy that I gave before the break, which is it's considered that men are dogs. Bran, I'd like to bring you in. Are men dogs? Or is this analogy brought from?
Men are humans to start with. But I can understand why the reason why they say men are dogs is because dogs are not particular to one person, like to one dog. They have several companions. So that's where the analogy is coming from. And so I'd say there could be factors that will make men appear as so.
So that the viewers who's watching will not think that it's a man who's a dog, but then it's more of a character
Yes.
that men have been attached to dogs.
Yes.
But then, would we say that there are men who generally behave like, in this sense?
Yes. yes, there are, because it depends with somebody's moral values and their views of how they can, their views towards others. So if my view to other ladies is like an experiment or a fun time thing, then I believe I'll be going around with all of them.
Martin, I want you
Even
to
like
jump in and probably advise to the same discussion. What do you think?
I just wonder why you call men dogs, and at the same time, these men, when they're being characterized as dogs, they're working together with ladies. I think also the ladies are dogs.
Shots fired, man.
Yeah.
Shots fired.
Yeah, because the men are not working alone. They're working with ladies in this dog character. So I think on the other side, the ladies also are dogs.
But Pastor, please jump in.
All right, maybe I might sound controversial, but I actually I see that this imagery has been created mostly by experience and expectations that have been put forward. What I've noticed is that women tend to like a guy who doesn't show a lot of interest in them. You know, that cool guy who will just look at many women, by the way, not all women, by the way. Let me just clarify that and qualify that. And so that guy who, you know, has attention of many of the girls, maybe they'll text them once and they'll not text again, and it will be the lady who will look for them, and you know, that kind of attitude. And when you have a sweet guy, as what they say, a nice guy who has to check on them, who has to make sure that they're okay, they're like, nah, I'd rather have you as what, my friend. I get friend zone.
You good?
Yeah, I get he's in friend zone, and I've experienced that so much because I don't I don't believe in having that attitude. I want to show all my feelings and all my emotions, but then they're like, nah, you know, you're very nice. You're like my brother. You're like my little brother. You're like my friend. No, brother zone, eh? So I think it's also that expectation that, you know, girls seem to be many of the ladies seem to be more attracted to this kind of guys. And so guys do that. They feel like, oh man, if I remain nice, I'm never gonna get a girl. So they begin to show those attitude, and they do get those girls. So it seems to be like a successful what do you call it, a formula. And so it makes many of the men do it, which is not right. I don't agree with it, because it does make men trifle with the hearts of girls.
This is a situation that we have been placed by the society, Haman, or is it it comes from a place of choice?
Just picking up from what the pastor said, I think men have been taught that they can get away with bad behavior. And apparently for some reason, some twisted reason, that is what a lot of ladies find themselves attracted to.
That's right.
And so I don't know whether people behave badly out of choice, or they behave badly because they've also been hurt and they're trying to pay back. But it is true that, you know, there are men whose behavior warrants that title. But also what Martin has said is true. Men are dogs, women are dogs, children are dogs. We are all dogs. Because everyone, man, I'm not comfortable with it. I'm kidding. I'm playing. All I'm saying is, the times have really changed. And in an effort to become empowered, a lot of women have not only inherited men's virtues but their vices as well. So that now the mistreatment, the neglect, these things that make men get called dogs, a lot of ladies can very, very well qualify and do the same thing. So it's not something that's gender specific. That's the point that I'm trying to
Unless somebody watches and says that you're calling anyone dogs, we are not. This is just an attribute.
We are not dogs.
We're not. These are attributes which have been associated to the dog. But then, could it be possible that people who behave like this, they have a fear of getting into a relationship? Brian.
Okay, before you go to Brian.
Please, Kings here.
Okay, there's this thing about ladies. If you're wealthy, they'll come to you. If they go and find another guy who's wealthy, they still go to that person. They go still find another guy like Brian driving, they go to that person.
That's an example, by the way.
Okay, that's an example of a dog character. Then they find another guy who's a pilot, earning a lot of money, they go to that person. And you find at the end of the day, this lady has like 5 men. a good example, Jesus found that lady at the well. And Jesus told this lady that, I know you have more than 5, a dog character. So when you talk about men being dogs, I think also ladies contribute in that kind of a character. More especially these days whereby they say sponsors. So you can find that like one lady has got like 7 sponsors. I had a lady, there's a lady who is our neighbor. She told me that in that time, during that time, I'm not talking about this time, but during that time when she was in the world, she used to date more than 5 men. And these men were men with fat wallets. Fat wallets. And the only thing that could make this lady date this man was the fat wallet. So I don't think that we can say that men are badly off, by the way, because at some point you find that not all men are that wealthy. They can stick to that one lady. I think men are not dogs.
Let's get into the
That's
to
a
the
radical
fear.
point. Yeah, that's a radical.
Let's go into the fear to getting into a relationship.
Okay. So where are we?
Yes,
That,
we'll go to the
that point
question.
really got into me.
Yeah. Could it be possible that men behave like this because they have a fear of getting into relationship, because they have been placed in that box that this is the way to. You want to get to her, behave like this, you'll get to her.
Okay. I'll start off by saying that there's a saying that goes by once bitten, twice shy. So I'll use my example to justify my point. There was a time that I was in a relationship, right? And then this lady, just one day, I remember it was on a Friday, she just texted me. I was that guy that pastor is talking about. I was caring. We could talk long hours. She could call, I could call, we could talk, even sing. Don't bring the bass aspect. I didn't even know I could sing bass at that time. But I used to sing tenor. So it got to that point. She just, one Friday, she woke up and just texted me on text, hey you, we can't go on this relationship, we just have to cut it. Now that was a very serious thing. Because for me, it's like somebody who took a knife and starts cutting your heart while you're still alive. That was so painful. And I remember after that, I was so angry to a point that thing you are calling dog character was in me. I was like, I am going, I don't care who it is. In fact, I'm going to these ones who are in charge because I feel like I will have an advantage over them because I feel they're good people. So they can easily believe me. So I could go to them and I couldn't care. I couldn't care whose heart I'm breaking. I'd just do anything. You see? And after meeting with that man up there, Christ, after meeting with him, now I realized that my ways were not right. But then that scar that lady put in me still hindered me from hindered me from getting serious to any lady, because I was like, if we go to this road, what if she does this? You see? And then you end up meeting another lady whom you think understands your situation. Then when you just want to make that move, then what if? So you end up having Jane, Mercy, and Veronica, and at the end of the day, what is driving you is fear for the pain you felt. The depression you had has contributed to whatever you're doing right now.
Pastor, come in.
I just wanted to add, I think that it's not a fear of getting into a relationship, but it's the result of the expectation that has been put out there. Perfect example, and also I've experienced this, whereas you're being told, and in fact, even your fellow men can tell you that, what you're doing, you're being too nice. You're never going to get this girl. You need to act this way, which is now this superficial way of you be a little bit rude, don't respond to everything, just be in control of manipulation. And with this, the problem with this is that this is not what the lady want long term.
True.
And it's so sad because they want it at that time, because you will have fun, you'll be going out, you look cool. But then when it comes to commitment, you can't have a guy like this. You need a guy who actually cares and who actually does all this thing. So this two imageries that are there, it makes, like example, if I act like that, I will never act like that to a person who I want to commit to.
True.
And so it makes me not want to commit, because I know that even if the lady is interested in this, I don't want to be like that. I don't want to have a marriage like that. And so it makes me not commit to a relationship or to a marriage. And so I think that this behavior is associated with people not getting into a relationship and people just having fun.
Very true. You know what is sad about it, before I bring you in, is that these cycles end up breaking people. You know, men get broken. As much as we won't see them crying, they get broken. You know, and in the long run, you find Sami Mangi, who's broken, trying to make a relationship with a broken girl because she's had a broken relationship. These are broken people trying to make something beautiful, but then the foundation of who they really are is already crashed.
I wanted to, in fact, you've almost made my point for me. There's a statement that I came across a few years ago that hurt people. So there's a tendency, the way Bran has told his story, to want to protect ourselves, especially when you've gone through a bad experience. And I guess it also comes from the point where we do not heal properly from bad experiences that we've had. So if you're jumping from one relationship to the next, you're carrying all this baggage that you've accumulated, especially people who have been in multiple relationships. I'm imagining a scenario where someone has been with 5 people. So these are 5 people which relationship did not end well. You know, by the time you're getting to your 6th one, you have a lot of pain that has not been dealt with. And when you carry that into another experience, if you've not dealt with it properly, then you are either going to get hurt again, or if you're protecting yourself the way Bran is talking about, you're going to end up hurting someone.
And you know what's sad about this is that some women will say that we cannot see, we can't tell that this guy is real with me. Or even when you've broken up, they will have this assumption that, oh, he's not going to go under siege. You know, but there's a particular perception they have about this. Martin, probably I could borrow from experience. How low has it been for you?
Okay, my experience. Okay, I don't think whether I was to share this experience, but thank you. With me, I've undergone such a hard experience about relationship. I once believed that I could get a lady, a girl who can stay by my side and say, this is the lady of my life, that I can promise everything and provide these things that I've promised. It was in my heart, watching movies and different areas, whereby relationship is that relationship. You understand? Yeah, whereby, you know, when you talk about relationship and watch the soap operas, you feel that this is the relationship that I'm looking for. And that is the thing that I was looking for in this lady. And the way it happened, and I met her, it was in fact like a soap opera. Like I play basketball. With her, she was playing volleyball. And then along the way, we were going for a tournament. Then I heard her singing. Imagine she was singing from the people who are not of our faith, and she was singing very nicely, very good soprano. Then myself here, I know I can sing tenor, not bass. Yeah. Then I sang a very good tenor. Then she said, "You also sing?" I said, "I sing." And I asked her, "Okay, you sing very nicely. Which church do you go to?" Then she did not answer me. Then we traveled to a place where we were going. Then the tournament was taking three days. We had gone on Thursday. We played on Thursday. Then the following day was on Friday. Then Friday in the evening, I was trying to look for a place whereby I can get my fellow Adventists and go and worship together with them during the Vespers program. Then I went looking for the place. In me looking for the place, I met this lady looking for the place also. Then I said, God is doing something. Yeah? I'm telling you, God is doing. God is making things to happen here. So I said, "Hey, so you're an Adventist?" "Yes." Then she said, "You're also an Adventist?" "Yes." Then from that point, we started talking, became very good friends, strong. Remember this lady?
It pretty much it checked all your boxes.
Yeah, and remember this lady, Many people had already come around her trying to ask her for a relationship, but she said no. So people are telling me that you are the reason as to why this lady is refusing us. Is refusing when we try to cast when you are trying to cast our seeds for relationship with her. Then I said, I don't know. Maybe it's God talking to them. Maybe it's God blocking them for the sake of me. Maybe God is favoring me. Then after some time, we got into a relationship. Then our relationship grew and grew. Remember that when she was going to eat, she could not leave me behind. Could go
Allah.
eat
Wow.
together with her.
Hey,
Sometimes,
sawa basi.
okay, sometimes,
Our couple, my friend.
yeah, sometimes I could be like, maybe I traveled to Nakuru, I'm coming back to Nairobi, and where she was supposed to be eating maybe supper. And she gets to know that I'm traveling all the way from Nakuru. I could come from Nakuru, she could not eat that supper until I reached there and eat together with her. That was the kind of relationship that I had. And I could tell God, thank you because of this relationship.
I found the
Yeah,
woman.
I found
Can we go
her.
on a
The
break?
Proverbs 31 woman.
Yeah, in fact, I found her. And then we lasted for about 2 years. In the relationship, things were tight, things were strong. She could talk with my mother, she could talk with my sister and my brother. Sometimes she could visit them. Things were so nice. And I always, in my life, I could thank God for that. We could make calls like, I don't know whether you make calls with, if you're in a relationship, if you've ever been in a relationship before, I don't know whether you've made a call of which lasted over 3 hours to 4 hours. A call, just one call, without breaking. It used to happen. 3 hours, 4 hours, 6 hours. Yeah, that was a relationship that I trusted so much, and I told God, thank you so much because of this relationship. Then it came a point, I moved from a place whereby I was staying close to her, then I moved to another place because things change in life. Then at some point, the conversation changed. She could call me, we talk for about now 2 hours. Previously we were talking 6 hours plus, now you're talking about 3 hours. It looked normal. Then after that, 2 hours.
It reduced.
It reduced 1 hour, 30 minutes.
30 minutes,
texts
15.
Now from the conversation, from calling, now back to texts. Hi, good morning. Good morning. Okay. Then I said one day, I'll make an impromptu visit. Then I went to see her. In fact, I called her and told her that, can I come and visit you tomorrow? She told me, no, don't come tomorrow. We'll plan. Then I said, this is the day that I'm going to visit her. Then I went to visit her. Okay, when I arrived at about 6 in the evening. I saw her at a place whereby we usually used to sit. It was a very good place, and I know that if she was in a relationship with any other kind of a man, that is the place they could go. Then I said, this is the place that I'm going to. I don't know whether it's the Holy Spirit which was who was leading me into that place. From a distance, I saw her with other men. I could not conclude that she was in a relationship with another man, or maybe something was happening which was fishy. But I felt in me that, anyway, let me just persevere like a man. Maybe I'm trying to put a lot of answers into questions that I don't know. Then I called her. I was looking at her from a distance. Then I called her and asked her, how do you do? Where are you? Whether I'm around, can I see you? Say, at this moment, you can't see me, but I'm seeing her. Then I assumed and I left her. Then I came and called her and told her that I was around. I saw you with this kind of man. Then she told me, no, those were my friends. But you told me that at this moment, at this time, you were at this place and not this place. But how comes you were at this place and you cheated me? Then after some conversation, it came to happen that I forgave her and things were right. But inside me, I felt like things were changing. Then it came a point whereby one day when I was back at home, just one day, because inside me I was feeling things were changing. Then one day when I was back at home, she called me and told me that, do you know what? I don't want to hurt you. I'm getting married in 3 months' time. It was so sudden. Nothing happened. Apart from that one, apart from the incident that I've already told you, nothing else happened apart from that. But now here, I have a breaking news like the Ethiopia airplane crashing. Martin, I'm getting married. I'm sorry to tell you this. I don't know. I don't know how you take it, but I'm very much sorry. My parents made this up, and these things are happening. So you can now try and imagine about my experience. After that, I was so much depressed. I was bigger than this, by the way. I've never regained very well. I crashed down. I felt like I'm not myself. I've heard people talking about committing suicide. I felt that committing suicide is not enough because I'll die and I'll not revenge. I feel like I should do something. I was feeling like I should do something that I've never done. It was very bad in me. I went to an extent. Someone was making a joke in the morning that somebody cried somewhere, and men do not cry. But I cried. I cried very much. I wept. I cried. I fasted and prayed and told Jesus, please bring her back. Bring her back. Jesus did not bring her back. She got married, by the way. And even she invited me and gave me an invitation letter to the wedding. And I was supposed to go to the wedding, but I was crying, still crying. She's married. Still I'm asking God, bring her back. Because Jesus said that you can fast and pray and things can change. I was fasting and praying for things to change so that God can bring this person who has died back to life, my relationship. But she never came back.
Man.
Yeah, until when God did a miracle. I met a friend. And after meeting that friend told me that walk in the garden of God. Just walk in the garden of God. There are many options. And I regained and I came back from the depression. Because my mother could not understand my situation. No one understood my situation, not even my sister who knew about her. Because in most of the times, they could ask me, how is your girlfriend going on? But I could tell them, just okay. But she's married already. They don't know. Just okay. They just didn't know about the thing that was going on the ground. It's only me who knew about the things that were going on the ground until when Jesus enabled me to meet a friend, and this friend helped me out. Until today, I've got another new girlfriend.
Correct.
Hey,
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah, I've got another new girlfriend who has swallowed all the pain. And I think I love her more than the other one.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's what called God provision right there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really, we get hurt, Pastor, in a statement, please. Talk to the young guy who's probably going through these hard moments, like for Martin, it's unbearable. Talk to the person and,
One thing that I would just like to say to this young person is that may they see their true fulfillment in being like Christ. Let's not play around with people's emotions. Let's put our hearts in Christ and allow Jesus to make us into the right men and women. Let's not allow societal expectations to determine how we act towards one another, but let's act towards one another in the fear of the Lord. And if there is anyone who is struggling and who is going through a heartbreak, may they find the true love and first a Savior who loves them. And ultimately, may they know that He cares about them and He has a person for them.
amazing, we get broken, yes. Think about it, 2 years just to be told in 3 months, getting married. Interact with us on our social media platforms and share with us of your experience, your questions, your comments. But remember this, that depression is not the end of life. Men get broken. Just because you don't see them tearing doesn't mean they're not hurting. Before you get to quickly judge and say that, this person is just faking it, it's proper that you can get to know the man for truly who he is. Till next time, be blessed.